Hi, my name's Tim McKibbin, for those of you I haven't met, CEO of the Real Estate Institute. I'm very pleased to be here today with Lisa Pennell, who's Head of Marketing at Ray White. And Lisa, before we get too far down the track, a really big thank you for you showing the drive and initiative to put together the solution, or at least part of a solution, out there for those communities that have been ravaged by the fires. So maybe you tell me why initially that you decided to take this on.
Well, thank you. I certainly can't take credit for this, so there's no doubt that this has been an absolute team effort. For me, I guess, like many of us, I was sitting feeling quite helpless, watching the news, watching all the devastation for our communities, for the habitats, for the animals that were dying, and the people, obviously, who lost their lives, unfortunately. And obviously, we've worked together before as an industry, and it did occur to me that it would be a great opportunity for us to do more together.
Yeah.
Any individual group obviously would have probably done something at some point, but together we're able to achieve so much more. So that's where the idea originally sprang from.
Yeah, and you have been able to, I think, glue everybody together, and the enthusiasm that's been around the table, if I can say that, because most of it has been through online and also with telephone conferences, which have, I think we had 3 or 4 in 1 week or something.
We did.
Yeah.
And just amazing how enthusiastic everybody was.
Yeah.
That was quite overwhelming for me to see everyone clearing their calendars, enthusiastically approaching the topic, willingly putting their hands in their pockets to put corporate pledges. The fact that we generated, almost $900,000 in corporate pledges within the space of a week. It's just remarkable, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was. It was kind of like, if I can use the analogy of a share listing, that there was so much money that went before it went public. So that was interesting in itself. The generosity of the industry. So,
and not what people outside our industry probably wouldn't expect that would, or anticipate that would happen.
No.
Because when we all sat down, as you'll recall, we talked specifically about this not being a PR exercise. Making sure that we were doing this for the right reasons, and that we weren't just taking the opportunity to look good, that we would actually be good. And that's the spirit in which it started, and that's how it's been carried on.
Yeah, and there's no doubt all the way through that, everybody has conducted themselves in that manner, which has just been sensational.
Yeah.
And it's been national too. We've had people from the Northern Territory, and God bless them up there, they haven't had those sort of problems down here, but no doubt that they still wanted to go and contribute from the heart and help out, which was just lovely.
No, even our New Zealand members.
That's right.
Our New Zealand members have already started their own page. They've generated. They're all channeling it through a fundraising page of their own, and we've had global interest from the REMAX members. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, so I recall the REMAX people putting forward some help as well, which again, we're going to use this word over and over. Fantastic and amazing.
Yeah,
but it's certainly
we are.
Yeah, but it
what
was.
A great industry.
Yeah, that's right. And since you make that point, I think this is where the industry really has a reputational issue. But once you go behind it, once you understand the industry, and once you see how giving they are, not only on this occasion, but on so many other things within their community, it is really sad, I think, that we don't have a better reputation. And something I know you and I are both committed to improving. So these are sorts of things we can do, and we'll continue to. I had a person from one of the universities, actually, which I haven't told you about, reached out to me and said, look, could you compile all of the collateral you're putting together and give me as much information as you can about what the industry is doing, because I'm really interested. The individual has always been involved in the industry, and like us, is frustrated that the industry doesn't have a better name. But anyway, we're working on it.
It's quite mind-boggling, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking back to, we run a campaign every Christmas called Little Ray Giving, which you may have seen. And it allows our officers to take that and turn it into their own thing, so they can support a local charity. And it becomes very difficult for us to understand what the impact was as a group, because it's all very localised. And last year we had almost 400 officers participating in that around Australia, half of our group. What an amazing thing that they would take it upon themselves to do things for so many different charities. But we're not getting that sort of, because we're not standing together as an industry, that's still a big group, but it's not, you know, this is our opportunity, you know, outside of the fact that we are doing it for the right reasons, that, you know, it does have the possibility of showing how we are to the public.
Yeah, and looking inward too, it's been a privilege to be associated with this, because the way that, and again, I pay tribute to you, but just glued everybody together with one cause.
Yeah.
And I think that has been really impressive. And as I said,
yeah.
it has been a privilege to be a part of it, just to see the way the industry comes together.
Yeah.
So my personal view is that even those people that weren't directly touched by the fires were touched in the sense that the city, Sydney, got filled up full of smoke. So I think what happened this time around is that we actually got to suffer to some greater lesser extent.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen on the television. Like in some other instances with tragedies around Australia, or around the world for that matter, it happens on the television. I'm removed from it. Whilst I care, and I do, my attention, if you will, hasn't been focused at such a direction to be involved in it. But once you fill my city up full of smoke, I then say, this is real. This is real to me. And I think
advertising.
Yeah.
I saw someone call it in Canberra.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm walking in the streets and people are saying, well, that's like smoking 40 cigarettes a day and all that. So this is real. This is real. What's happening?
We have members in each of our networks and in the REI New South Wales who are, you know, this is 1 degree of separation. We have friends, we have families, we have houses there. You know, in the kitchen at Ray White this week alone, I've spoken to 2 different people who were down there, either on holidays or in holiday houses, who were evacuated to the beach, you know, who were, you know, worried about losing their homes, and first-hand experiences being shared with us. How can we possibly ignore the scale of that tragedy? We can't.
Yeah, and you know, I think everyone's got a story, and I was out for dinner with my wife well before Christmas, and we got a phone call from her parents and from her sister, which lives relatively close to them, and they were told to evacuate. Like, just go. So they bundled up with the clothes they were wearing, jumped in their vehicle and went, and then had to sleep in their car and all this sort of stuff. And all of a sudden, this is real. This is, you know, I know it's no longer on television. This is real. So one of the concerns that you said when we sat down here today is that it's raining outside. It is, thankfully. But it is raining, and raining quite heavily. So the problem's solved. It's all done now.
Well, that's the danger, isn't it? And you know, it's only this morning I was talking to someone in one of the areas who actually owns property with, I think, 120 cattle he's running, and he said today he has to go and shoot them all. It's raining, but there's no food. So, and it's going to take too long and even though it might rain for a week, that's not going to satisfy the long-term problem of the drought, which is this shortage of food, shortage of, you know, because his whole property's been burnt and there's just nothing there. The after effects and knock-on effects. Let's not forget also that tourists will stop going to those areas. You know, there'll be a massive hit to those economies. So the longer-term effects here are intense. The other flip side is, of course, this rain could actually be just as damaging as the bushfires I'm seeing. The charities involved are telling me that they're expecting things could actually get worse before they get better. So we're talking about flooding, we're talking about possible cyclones or even tornadoes, and we're talking about more bushfires when things dry up, you know, when the rain stops and the sun comes out. We'll be facing 40-degree days again, and how quickly that could turn again into devastating fires. Yeah. So to think, oh, well, it's raining now and it's done, would be ignorant for us to take that position. Yeah.
And once we start to talk about some of the affected areas, I know that when people were saying, well, here's a whole heap of food, here's some clothing, here's that, and they said, no, we've got more of that than we can deal with. What we need is money, you know, to try and start us rebuilding, and the money was going to be spent in their community. I'm sure this applies everywhere, but in Kangaroo Island, they actually said that. They said, don't send us things, send us money, because what we want to do is to buy goods and services and things like that to rebuild, but we want to buy it from the local people, because that is then going to generate the economy back to where it had to be, their microeconomy in that area. And I think that's undoubtedly going to apply to a few areas. One of the things that came out of our group, which I thought was really good, and they were saying, and I think it might have been one of the things that you've said, or one of your compatriots said, is that when we have a conference, let's have the conference in one of those affected areas. We'll
Yep.
take our money there,
Yep.
we'll go there ourselves,
Yep.
we'll support the community simply by being there. And I thought that was a really good idea. Now, we're on the road ourselves this year, as we do every year with the REI Roadshow. We do 20 locations around the state, and this year's roadshow is a big one because of all the changes that are coming through in the legislation and in practice and all the rest of it, which I certainly won't go into now. But it is a big one, and we've already had a lot of people who are registered to come. But what I intend doing is to go out to the market and say to the market, look, you are coming, you need to come. Why don't you come to one of the regional areas and do the training there, make a weekend of it, and
Tax deductible.
Yeah, that's right.
Contribute to the local
and
economy.
contribute to the local economy, because I think a lot of these people will appreciate when people are coming to town and saying, no, we're here, we're going to stand with you. We're not staying away because of the problems you've had. And I think that's so important.
Absolutely true. And, that's why, of course, as you know, this wasn't just a, let's raise money and forget about it. We, as an industry, we've decided, or the groups that are collaborating, that we've got this three-phase plan. This first phase obviously is about the crisis, and let's see how much money we can generate, how much we can help the people in those affected areas in the way that they need most.
Yes.
But what does phase two look like, where the tragedies pass, the crisis is gone? Will they need us to start collecting, fridges and furniture and whatnot in our, respective businesses, which is where we'll work with St Vincent's de Paul.
Yes.
And phase three is exactly what you're talking about, which is how can we support tourism in those areas? Can we spend money there ourselves? Can we do great PR? Can we tell stories about why people should go there, why it's not dangerous anymore?
Yes.
Over the long term, Vinnie's was telling me the other day, it can take 2 years for those economies to recover.
Yes.
That's we need to take that long-term approach. And an opportunity for us to align ourselves really closely with those communities.
Yes.
They will tell the story of what we have done. We don't need to go and put a press release out. This is about doing good and then being perceived as good because you are doing good. And the more we do as good together, the more that message gets through.
Yes.
And that's why we're imploring every real estate group. We didn't get to everybody, obviously, in that first few days. It was mad panic scramble just to get it all together. But anyone who's not part of Beyond the Bricks, we want them to be a part of it, don't we?
That's right. So I think that's a really good point. So what you're saying is, if you somehow missed the message, somehow weren't
holidays,
part, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's not too late to come in.
No,
It's not too late.
No, we wanted to get it out there, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
But wave two, come on, get your boogie board out and jump on wave two, because the more the merrier. And even if offices or businesses are, one business and they want to set up their own fundraising page from the homepage of beyondthebricks.com.au, they can do that, upload their logo, set up their team. It's all self-service, the way we've got that tech set up. Choose the charity they want out of the 4 that we've got: St Vincent's de Paul, Red Cross, Salvation Army, or World Wildlife Fund Australia. And off you go.
Yeah, I thought that was very clever, because when we had our first meeting, I think we were talking about Vinnie's, and some other people said, I think I'd rather go with this and I'd rather go with that. And then other people were concerned, obviously, about our beautiful animals, our native animals. So
Yeah.
I thought you very cleverly said, right, I'll put it out there, you choose which one you like,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to put any roadblocks in
Yeah.
your way for donating.
I gave myself the headache instead, trying to figure out the tech. But we did it. We
You
did
did.
it.
And you did it, and you did it in record time. And
Well,
I know I
don't muck around, Tim.
I do. Yeah, keeping up with you is quite a challenge. Now, we found out earlier that you're a marketing manager. So Beyond Bricks, how did that come about?
The concept?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's about homes and that, but Beyond Bricks. What's
Beyond
the thinking
Bricks,
there?
So I can't take credit for that. It's my team that came up with that. I'm not a marketer, even though I am head of marketing. I'm more a strategic person, as you know, and crisis management is my specialty. My amazing marketing team came up with a few different concepts, but Beyond the Bricks was all about beyond just selling homes. Obviously, bricks and mortar is what we deal in. So beyond that, for the communities, it's about beyond just homes. That we do buy and sell homes, but as agents, we're actually part of the local community. The other thing is that Beyond the Bricks is not attached to a particular issue. So whilst we're working on the fires and the devastation caused at the moment, it is a framework that we can use as an industry for anything. So if another tragedy comes, we can pivot to that if we choose to.
Yes.
So this is about, we can build capital, if you like, or equity in that overarching brand for anything that we want to do together in the future. And forget the disruptors. We stand arm in arm, we're strong.
Yes, absolutely.
And interestingly, technology is important, but I think people is what things come back to time and time again. Ironically, and I'll sidetrack for a minute, I get in the lift every morning and I'm always shocked by how many people are either, covered up listening to music or on their phones. No one's talking to each other.
No.
You remember the old days when people actually did.
Yeah.
How much is technology actually stopping us rather than helping us?
Oh, look, I agree with you, and we are getting sidetracked, but it's one of the things I think that we've lost the art of conversation.
And yet, agents, buying and selling homes, sellers are always going to need help. Buyers are always going to need help. They're not going to get on an eBay and buy a house or sell a house. So technology is great for us as an industry. What will keep us solid and protected from disruption is actually connection, people to people.
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
And if we stay in that space, the computers and all of this wonderful technology, then they can't replicate humanity.
No.
They can't.
No.
They can't replicate that. They can't have those communications that we can have with the looks on our faces and how we change the tone of it.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to focus. We have gone off on a different tangent, so let's come back.
It is important though, if I can just finish off by saying that Beyond the Bricks isn't going to be successful if people just share a post and say donate here.
No.
That's technology, not people. Where you will generate funds in an office or charity, is when you actually take the initiative to make the connection.
Absolutely.
If I ask someone I know to donate to the charity, they will. If I ask them one-to-one or on my send a direct message or an email. If I hold a charity auction and put those funds in, that's me taking an action. It's not a technology looking for an easy solution. If I collect gold coin donations at my open, that will generate a return that will help the cause. Don't use technology as that's not going to be how we win this. Yeah.
No, I get that many emails in a day, and you do as well,
Yeah.
despite it being a great cause or whatever the case may be. I mean, my finger hovers over the delete button. I say, give me a reason.
Yeah, yes.
It goes, but as you rightly say, if you roll your sleeves up and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think the agents who focus on building relationships, one-on-one relationships, in the other parts of their business, this is where it's going to go. So while we're talking about the industry coming together, we, through you and you pulled it all together. The cooperation you were able to pull together is amazing. But we had our Prime Minister. He's off having a holiday in Hawaii. And when he came back, he said, okay, well, this is really a state's problem. And he said, oh, well, maybe we'll have a look at it. We should have a Royal Commission and all this. You and pulling the industry together was able to do so much more than government. It was just amazing.
Let's say we.
Yeah, we. Okay, we.
I can't make it.
All right. Okay. It's a team. It's a team. All right. Okay. It was a team.
Thank you, but yes.
Yeah, it was a team. But you were certainly the leader. So
thank you.
Anyway, but the interesting part of it, maybe we're not going to raise as much money as government. I think that's probably likely. But with the cooperation that came together. And the willingness to do it, and the willingness to take the problem on as an industry. And when you think about the resources of government and all the rest of it, and they're stumbling over the top of one another trying to work out what their next move was. So again,
the buck has to stop somewhere. Someone's got to step up and say, "I'll do the hard work." And that this is what I'm trying to say, I guess, around Beyond the Bricks. It might be one person's idea in the first place, but it doesn't become a thing unless other people get involved. And even now, even with the tremendous amount of money we've already raised, it won't actually get any further unless the people watching this video, who hopefully is still listening, get out there and grab it and do their bit. It's a much easier bit than the bit we've already done, but it's so important.
Yeah.
The
job is not done.
Yeah, will they do it?
Yeah, the job is not done.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about raising money. What's the total? I haven't been into my everlasting shame to have a look. So what is the total today?
So we've still got some of the corporate pledges due to be paid through the site, and there's some that have been paid to charities outside of the site. But in total, from what I can calculate this morning, we're sitting at about 970,000.
Wow.
So we're very close to that $1 million mark. Hoping to push through today, maybe. So yeah, I mean, where are we aiming to get to? I don't know. Where are we aiming to get to?
Oh, sky's the limit.
Yeah, as much as we can. I guess the more we can do, the more of a statement we're making, the more of a difference we're making, and all of those things are important.
Yeah. So I think just to wind up some of the things that we've discovered here, despite the rain, the job's not done. It won't be done for some time. At an individual level, I can take a holiday in these areas. I can go and visit them. I should do that because I need to understand the problem. At a corporate level, let's try and take our conferences down there. Let's do those sorts of things. And we can continue to raise money. $1, $2, it all adds up.
Correct. A lot of people have said to me, oh, I already donated. Well, I already donated as well, but if you put another $5 in, if you put another $10 in, if we all did that, you know, how many people do we have in our industry here in New South Wales?
That's right.
How many agents are there?
There are about 45,000.
So if every agent put, you know, $10 in,
yeah, I can do
how
the
much
maths.
is that? Yeah, $500,000, right?
Yeah.
So how about that? Why didn't everyone put $10 in? Let alone what they could do if they go and ask their friends and family just for another. I actually put a post on my social media saying, "Would you buy me a coffee?" Because if you would, how about you put $5 on my appeal? We've got my team page, and it's amazing how many people did.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's just that small amount adds up so quickly.
Yeah, and if you're sitting on the fence, can't decide whether you're going to put your $5 in, then I'd suggest you come into the Institute's helpline and listen to the calls that are coming in there from members saying, these are I've never faced anything like this before, and what do we do? And some of those are really heart-wrenching.
That might be an interesting thing to talk about, Tim. What's sort of the worst story you've heard? Because I can certainly share some too from our network, but what's the worst thing you've heard?
I think the most difficult thing that's happened is that they've got all of these tenants who've just nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I know some of the agents, like their house has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And all of their worldly possessions have gone with it.
Yeah.
So that you've got insurance issues. And I know agents have actually taken tenants in.
To their house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, taken them in and given them a room and said, well, until we sort things out, this is where you can live.
Amazing.
But then there's so many other things going on with agents going out there and saying to landlords for holiday rentals. So you've got that market as well, saying, well, thankfully that home didn't get burnt down. And this one did. Can I put these people in there?
Yeah.
And you know, it's just being done. And if you sit back and say, well, these are all the risks by putting somebody in the house, and have we done this and have we done that? I said, well, we'll just have to work it out later on. Just get them in there, put a roof over their head, and we'll just do it. Yeah. And I once was told that when the times are worse, humanity is at its best. And I think
it's true.
Yeah, and I think that is the case.
I think it is true.
Yeah.
Although I will say we had when the Bendalong fires were happening, we actually had some people ring in complaining that we'd ruined their holidays. Would you believe it? So not always, but I would agree with you that most people actually are. That's when you really see the true spirit come out. But perhaps that says, it says something about our industry that people would actually, even in the midst of a crisis, assume that an agent's not acting in their best interests.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
And when I say agents are opening up their homes, I know agents in Sydney
opening up their homes
to people down there, and I mean that's a contribution. I'm sure those very same people have put their hand in their pocket and put things in. But what wonderful piece of humanity to actually say, I don't know who you are, or even if I do know who you are, come and stay with me. Come until we work things out. And do you remember that story that we got told? It was heart-wrenching when they said they took somebody in and they were fine, everything was good, until they lit the barbecue. And as soon as they saw the flames on the barbecue, they lost it. And, some of the, when you go down there, we'll be able to rebuild the bridges, we'll be able to put the homes back up and all the rest of it, and hopefully the the foliage will grow back and everything like that. But the thing that we're not going to see that will be so damaged, I think, is the emotional side of it. And I think that's going to come out in months and years to come. Where
there's no doubt. You know, we have a business owner in one of the affected areas, and in fact the husband was is the captain of the local fire service, so he was out of the office for a good couple of weeks. They had no Wi-Fi, they had no phone. In fact, we had to run their office remotely through that New Year's period. The wife was at the local caravan park serving food, you know, cooking up food and trying to organise emergency accommodation. The wife is not in a good place, and they're ready to leave.
Yeah.
You know, they're living through that, and I guess always feeling uncertain that it could happen again. Interestingly, we had one of our principals from Christchurch having gone through the earthquakes,
yes,
sort of giving some advice around how to survive once the crisis has passed. And you're bang on. It doesn't just go away just because the fires have stopped or the immediate point of pain has passed.
Yes.
And that's, I guess, again, you know, we're all about communities. We're people to people, and we need to, this is a time to step up and actually be there for our communities.
Yeah, so I think your message is really good. It's not over. You're not too late to keep giving, and you can do things at a personal level. You can talk to somebody. You can influence the attitude of somebody else, one-on-one. And when we all take that attitude, then we can move mountains.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think we've proven that. So it's great to see the industry come together.
Time for a hug, Tim. Thanks very much.
That was one of our for the benefit of the viewers, one of our contributors to the discussion said what we need is to get somebody down there giving everybody a hug, and I thought that's so good. It's such a great idea.
Shame we can't transport them.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's one of the things we can't do, and that's back to our humanity. Try and get a hug from a computer or an ATM. You know, that's a real challenge.
The best we can do at this point in time is put our $5, our $10, our whatever we can afford, dig deep and make the effort to try and help where we can.
All right. We're both going to stare down the barrel of that camera, and we're going to say there is no reason why you can't help.
Yep.
No reason at all.
Please join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.